धीमहि धर्मप्रोजितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सदा वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनं श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिः तत्क्षणात् निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं सुखमुखातमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयम् पुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः प्रायेणाल्पायुषः सभ्ये कलावस्मिन् युगे जनाः मन्दासु मन्दमतयो मन्दभाग्या हि उपादृताः हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण माताजी, हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी. थैंक यू. दंडवत प्रणाम. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna. Over to you, Prabhuji. I'll just put it on YouTube. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you for this wonderful recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam shlokas. Welcome to this evening's Srimad Bhagavatam class. We'll continue from where we last left on Friday. So we'll start with our Mangalacharan prayers. Om Madhyamitimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamsha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswatya Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yes, so I'll start my screen and we'll pick from where we last left. Please let me know once my screen is visible. A lot of things are coming in the way. Let me clear this. So we'll start from 1.10.11. So we're continuing with essentially Krishna's departure towards Dwaraka, exactly the same place where we left on Friday. So I just recite the shloka. Satsangan mukta dussango atum notsayate buddha kirtya amanam yaso yasya sakridat akarnya rochanam tasmin yasta diya partha saheran viraham katam darshana sparsha samlapa sayanasana bhojanaihi. Yes, anybody wants to read this? Anyone wants to?
I'll read, Prabhuji. Start.
Yes, Mother, please go ahead.
Pranams, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Satsangan mukta dukshango atum notsahate buddha कीर्त्यमानं यशो यस्य शकृत् आकर्ण्यरोचनं तस्मिन् यस्तदियः पार्था सहरेन् विरहं कथं दर्शनास्पर्शसंलापा शयनाशनभोजनैः.
Translation by Divine Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. You cannot see the screen.
Nice.
So yeah, scroll down. Prabhuji, could you scroll down? Prabhuji, translation I'm not able to see. Hare Krishna.
Sorry, Mataji, I had an internet outage, some problems. I connected over the phone. Please continue. I'm sorry I missed.
Should I
Just share
request
again.
somebody else to share the screen?
Yeah,
Devla
I'll share the
Mataji
screen,
can do
Mataji.
that. Yeah, Devla Mataji.
Yeah, Mataji, sure.
Yeah, I have it
Thank
now,
you.
Mataji. No
Yeah.
worries.
She will help.
I just connect.
She will
Okay.
help.
Yeah, is it visible? I've kind of somehow managed using my phone. So
Yes, Prabhu.
yes. Please go ahead,
Someone.
Mataji. Sorry,
Shall I read Prabhuji translation?
Yes, Mataji. Please go
Translation
ahead.
by Divine Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The intelligent who have understood the Supreme Lord in association with pure devotees and have become freed from bad materialistic association can never avoid hearing the glories of the Lord, even though they have heard them only once. How then could the Pandavas tolerate his separation? For they had been intimately associated with his person, seeing him face to face, touching him, conversing with him, and sleeping, sitting, and dining with him. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Sindhu Mataji. Anybody who wants to read the purport? It's a slightly longish purport. Maybe two devotees can share, if
Shall I read
possible. Yes, just so that all of us get chance. Yes.
Shall I
Go
read the purport?
Yes, Divya.
Purport.
Please go ahead.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The living being's constitutional position is one of serving a superior. He is obliged to serve by force the dictates of illusory material energy in different phases of sense gratification. And in serving the senses, he is never tired. Even though he may be tired, the illusory energy perpetually forces him to do so without being satisfied. There is no end to such sense gratificatory business, and the conditioned souls become entangled in such servitude without hope of release. The release is only effected by association with pure devotees. By such association, one is gradually promoted to his transcendental consciousness. Thus, he can know that his eternal position is to render service unto the Lord and not to be perverted senses and not to the perverted senses in the capacity of lust, anger, desire to lord it over, etc. Material, society, friendship, and love are all different phases of lust. Home, country, family, society, wealth, and all sorts of corollaries are all causes of bondage in the material world, where the threefold miseries of life are concomitant factors. By associating with pure devotees and by hearing them submissively, attachment for material enjoyment becomes slackened, and attraction for hearing about the transcendental activities of the Lord become prominent. Once they will go on progressively without stoppage, like fire in gunpowder. It is said that Hari, the personality of Godhead, is so transcendently attractive that even those who are self-satisfied by self-realization are factually liberated from all material bondage, also becomes devotee of the Lord. Under the circumstances, it is easily understood what must have been the position of the Pandavas, who were constant companions of the Lord. They could not even think of separation from Sri Krishna, since the attraction was more intense for them because of continuous personal contact. His remembrance by his forms, quality, name, fame, pastimes, etc. is also attractive for the pure devotee, so much so that he forgets all forms, quality, name, fame, and activities of the mundane world, and due to his mature association with pure devotees, is not out of contact with the Lord for a moment. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Pranams Prabhuji.
Thank you, Divya Mataji. So here it's a very touching translation, touching shloka, translation and its purport. Few things that are being called out here is the fact that one is constitutional position is always in serving a superior, right? Somewhere we are serving either our bosses, we are serving our superiors, elders, etc. Somewhere or the other, there is, even in the material sense, this is happening, this business is happening. So he is obliged to serve by the forces, by force, the dictates of material energy in different phases of sense gratification. So in case one doesn't find, and Prabhupada quotes this quite a lot, that as human beings, our inherent position is to serve. And when we don't find anyone to serve, we serve the pets. People serve dogs, cats. They are very happy picking the dog poop. They are very happy taking them outdoors, serving the dogs, giving them baths. So some or the other service, if you're not switched on in terms of devotee association, we'll only serve like this, right? And here, even though a person may be tired, the illusory energy perpetually forces him to do so without being satisfied. For example, the senses, the more, for example, if someone is addicted to games, no matter how many games he plays, he always feels there's always room for one more. Right? I wish that kind of sentiment, that kind of emotion is there for bhakti also, that I'm not done enough, let me do more. Right? There is no end to such sense gratificatory business, and the conditional soul becomes entangled in such servitude without hope of release. Now, the problem statement is defined nicely here. Prabhupada makes a case that in the absence of anything spiritual, how would we spend our material life? Now he's giving the solution, which I call panacea. That means a solution to all problems. Right? The release is only affected by association with pure devotees. Otherwise, there's always continuous birth and death, continuous no hope, right? But once one comes in association with pure devotees, one is promoted to his transcendental consciousness, or one is promoted to his primary constitutional responsibility, Jivere Swarupa Krishnera Nityajas. That's the one. Thus, he can know his eternal position, which is what I just described, to render services to the Lord and not to serve his senses. So we became serving the senses of Rishikesha, not serving our own senses, and with all the anarthas that we have. Right? Now, material society also, there is all different phases of lust. So Prabhupada makes a point here that when one is serving the home, country, family, etc., there is still threefold miseries there, and it's a cause of bondage. See, even I think there are many places Prabhupada says that when one is serving his family alone, there is this element that if I serve the people I know, I can expect something in return, right? So the relationship is always very transactional. Even in family business, when we, let's say there is one person in the family who's helping out everyone in the family, there's always an expectation that if one day I go under the weather, once I'm unable to stand up, these people whom I have served so nicely, they will reciprocate that. So there's some inherent understanding like that. Okay? And also, when we also deal with people in the society, and in many cases, I'm not saying all of us, but many of us are always looking for some favors back. So it becomes always almost like a business like that. I'm going to serve this person, I'm going to help this person with an expectation that one day I'm not well placed, this person will reciprocate. Right? So, but by associating with pure devotees and hearing them submissively, attachment for material enjoyment becomes slackened, and attraction for hearing about the activities of Lord becomes prominent. Basically, these devotees are acting like a vaccination who is curing us of a particular disease. They are ensuring that we are moving away from all the material attraction and moving towards Krishna. And Lord himself says, just a question here, what makes Lord more happier? Is it serving, is it getting service directly from the devotees, or devotees serving Lord's devotees, which may internally make Krishna happy, which will make Krishna happy internally? Which one of the two options Lord will prefer? Anybody?
Serving the devotees.
Yes. So are we aware of any pastime in this? Anything that comes to your mind?
Prabhuji, Krishna is a charioteer to Arjuna.
Kanchipurna.
Kanchi Purna. Who said that?
Hare Krishna.
Can you elaborate that, Prabhu?
Sudama.
Mataji, sorry.
Kanchipurna was fanning Lord Varadaraja. That Ramanujacharya, I don't remember exactly, but this Lord asked, no, Kanchipurna used to talk to Lord so closely that everybody is knowing that. So somebody asked when I will be getting liberated. So Lord told Lord told that he'll be liberated soon. So Kanchipurna asked the Lord when I will be getting liberated. Lord told you it will take more you have to take more lives to get liberated. So why I am doing a close service to you? So he told that you have to serve my devotee.
Yes, that's true. That's true. So very nice. Who's this? Mataji? I probably am not.
Myself, Prabhu Archana Sundar Kumar.
Archana. Okay, Archana Mataji. Very nice pastime. Yes, yes. Very spot on. So for the people who haven't heard it, yes. So Mataji summarized. I'm just summarizing what she mentioned. So Kanchipurna was fanning, his service was fanning the Lord Varadaraj Perumal in Kanchipuram. And as usual, he was going about his business, and he would always be questioned by many devotees because he had this ability to directly speak with Lord Varadaraj. Right? And one time, many devotees would ask, okay, no, he will go in this lifetime. Varadaraj will immediately voice it over through Kanchipurna, and Kanchipurna will kind of mention that, and devotees will feel very happy. And he once asked, when will I get liberated? When will I go back to Godhead? Not in this lifetime. And then when Kanchipurna becomes very morose, very disheartened, and he stops finding the Lord and immediately keeps it and asks, what should I be doing so that I can reach, I can come to, I can go back to Godhead in this lifetime itself? And Lord says that, see, always you have been serving me directly, but you never served my dear devotees. And that's the reason you'll take few more lifetimes, as Mataji rightly mentioned. And then immediately Kanchipurna gets into business, and he takes up a service, in the same village. I'm forgetting whether, basically, I think he takes up a service in one of the devotees' houses, and somehow he finally, he's able to then comes back to this service. And the reason he operates in kind of secrecy is because if people know that it's Kanchipurna who's serving a Vaishnava's house, they will not take his service because he's got a very exalted position in a temple and exalted service of fanning fanning Lord Varadaraj. So he had to operate in secrecy, and then there's a big story around how people become aware of who's this person serving us, and then they come to know his true identity, and all that happens. So yes, so that is one pastime. Any other pastime? Anybody remembers? of how Lord is pleased when anyone serves his devotees? Anyone?
Prabhuji, I'm not sure, but the Vitthal story,
Okay.
I'm not sure
Yes,
about the end.
Mataji, please.
He
Yes, no, it's a very...
he kept Vithala waiting, like I have to serve my.
Yes. Correct. That's a wonderful pastime. And do you want to elaborate a little bit, Mataji?
I don't know much of the story, but this is what I remember as of now. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Anybody remembers that story? So, anybody remembers that?
Punlik story you are telling, Mataji? Deval Mataji?
Mataji, I don't remember the names as of now, but
Pundalik was serving her parents, and then Vitthal came and he made him to stand on the bridge.
yes.
And after that, he is called Vitthal because he is standing on the wheat. Wheat means in Marathi, wheat. Brick means wheat. So that's why he is called Vitthal now in Maharashtra. Pundlik was serving her parents, and at that time, Vitthal came to meet him. And he told to God that please wait, I am serving my parents. After finishing this, I will serve you. And he threw the brick to him and asked him to stand on that brick. Wait on that brick. And after that, Narayan is called Vitthal in Maharashtra because he is standing on the wheel. Is it that, Mataji?
That's
Yes.
correct. I think that's correct. Yes. Yeah. So basically, Pundalik was kind of attending to his aged parents, and Lord came as a guest, right? And so Lord wanted his audience, his attention, and Pundalik, since he was serving his parents, he offered basically a brick, because you can't let a guest come without offering him a seat. So he offered the brick as a seat. And then Lord actually stood there patiently looking at Pundrik when he will be done with his service, and he waited for that to happen. And then, I think he permanently stayed there, something on those lines. Anybody knows
Yes,
I know this much.
In Pandharpur.
Yeah, then that's in Pandharpur.
Standing here there only and waiting for his devotees waiting there.
Correct. Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, so these are some pastimes.
Prabhuji, Pandavas?
Pandavas, what's the pastime there?
Pandavas, when they were in exile, Lord Krishna visited them and okay, this is
more Lord's
devotee.
reciprocation. Directly devotee only, serving the devotees. Like in what we're trying to see here is Lord getting a lot of satisfaction when Lord's devotees are being served by another devotee. Like, dasa dasanub das kind of a perspective. That way.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, when Narada Muni was a small boy, son of the maid servant, then he was serving the devotees of the Lord.
Correct.
Had the remnants.
Yes, very true. That's a very wonderful pastime. So Lord took away Narad Muni's, of course, there's no description about Narad Muni's father, but his mother's description is there. And Narad Muni was completely dependent on his mother. But his mother was serving some sadhus, and therefore Narad Muni got association of those sadhus. And he basically, and when once his mother was taken away, right, he was completely dependent on the Lord, right? And so all this was coming, as Mataji was alluding to, is coming because Narad Muni got an opportunity to serve those sadhus, because of which he could make some spiritual progress. And he built upon that by his complete faith on the Lord and all that. And finally, he became who he became, right? A transcendental Muni who can go across space, right? Any planet, any place, he can go with his transcendental Veena. He doesn't need a Elon Musk spaceship, or he doesn't need any of that ship or vehicles. You can just go transcendentally. And Prabhupada describes that in a lot of detail in terms of how Lord gives, even in these liberations, forms of liberation, Salokya, Sarishti, Samipya, Sayujya. Of course, we will not talk about Sayujya, but all other forms of liberation. Lord gives, okay, you can reside, you can get the same form as me, you can get a similar place like me. So Lord gives a lot of, he's very egalitarian, right? He wants the devotees to enjoy whatever he's enjoying. He's willing to extend that. So to Narad Muni, that he was cursed, right? When all the Manu's sons were converted into devotees, and Manu wanted to essentially make sure that there is a progression of race. When Narad Muni made them disciples, and they all took basically brahmacharya ashram, Manu was frustrated, and of course he cursed that you will not be stationed in any particular place. Narad Muni used that to his advantage, and he started preaching not just he did a inter-universe or across space preaching. Right? He opened the door so much. So that's a very interesting pastime as well. So yes, once they will go progressively without stoppage, like fire and gunpowder. He said that Hari is so transcendental that even those who are satisfied with self-realization are factually liberated from all material bondage, also become devotees of the Lord. This is clear. Now, a question here. What do we think are benefits of our association? Anyone? What are the benefits of association?
Hare Krishna,
Anything?
Prabhuji. When we are in association, actually we are not giving up the spiritual progress. Suppose we are actually going in the spiritual path, and suddenly we are not concentrating much on it. That is, regularly we are attending Mangalarti and all that. Suddenly we are not concentrating on it. So we are slowly leaving away one by one, becoming lazy to get up and all that. We are slowly leaving one by one. But if we are having a Bhakti Vriksha group or association like this, Satsangas and all that, we have the regular touch with the devotees. This gives us an encouragement to get up every day at 4 o'clock and attend Mangalarti. That is because we are not going away from our spiritual path. They are always making us on that path only. They are not leaving us away from the God consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Very nice answer, Mataji. Very nice. Yeah, just to summarize what we can get from association is, first of all, we'll strengthen our faith and devotion. See, what happens is with regular association with devotees, one's faith in Krishna is reinforced, right? And what happens is in that association, we'll hear, discuss pastimes of Krishna, philosophy, and with pastimes and with philosophy, we get a deepened understanding of Krishna consciousness. That's one. Then the second point is it provides a spiritual encouragement. Now, what happens is when we are all social animals, right, as human beings. So what happens is when one person is very seriously, very sincerely performing sadhana, it rubs off. So let's say we are inattentive in our chanting. We find one who's really inspired, who's chanting sincerely, who's chanting with with clarity, right? Every word of what he's chanting is very crystal clear. We suddenly develop that kind of inspiration, right? And we also will not look at we're not distracted anymore. And any challenges that arise, we may even keep our phones on the mute. And that happens with that kind of a spiritual encouragement. The third is it basically helps overcome material attachments. And that's what is mentioned here. See, attachment for material enjoyment becomes slackened. Now, how does that happen? The material world is full of distractions, and that pulls one away from spiritual progress. But associating with devotees minimizes worldly influences and replaces them with Krishna-centered lifestyle. So what we tend to do is, for example, even if you bought something, many times, many places you'll find in devotees' houses, anything new bought, for example, a new dress, people will first offer it to the Lord. So we spiritualize those material purchases also. So one time I remember Gauranga Prabhu saying that one time one devotee came and there was a Narsimha, offering that was happening. And this devotee came and offered a pair of boxing gloves to Narsimha, saying that this is something I bought new and I need Lord's blessings so that I can practice very well. So such things have also been offered to the Lord. So all our lifestyle becomes Krishna-centered. So we will eat prasadam, we'll take prasadam, we'll talk Krishna Katha and everything. So slowly and steadily, see, Lord that way takes the prime spot, right? He's in US they call this the what's that called? Before a baseball event, there is a advertisement that happens. It's a very big event. Advertisers clamor for it, right? And the whole world watches. So similarly, Lord, when He enters into our heart, He kicks out all these anarthas like kama, krodha, mada matsarya, etc. All that gets kicked off because He wants the whole space for Himself. So He sees that these termites which are coming in my way, let me keep them out. So Lord keeps the whole place, the whole real estate for Himself. Then it increases the effectiveness of chanting, the Nama Sankirtan, right? How? Because the chanting, when the association of devotees, which I talked about, the collective energy creates a very spiritually uplifting atmosphere, right? And then it promotes a mood of service, right? When we see others serving spiritual masters and senior Vaishnavas sincerely, we also feel inspired, right? And that that instills a sense of humility. When we serve anyone, we have to bend, we have to actually lift the utensil, a lot of bending. So someone who is very arrogant will not be able to bend and serve people. So it naturally brings that humility. And that's why this is a complete science, because when we read from Srila Prabhupada's purports about humility, about tolerance, Brahminical qualities, there is a stage set for us where we can apply all these qualities in serving other devotees, and from Gyan, it becomes a Vigyan. It's a complete science. So that mood of service, which is Seva Bhava, comes very naturally. Then it protects us from Maya, which is similar to, taking us away from material attachments. Then it leads to spiritual realization. What happens is when we speak to a lot of advanced devotees, they will bring such beautiful points on how Lord has impacted their lives, right? How Lord has taken care of them. When they explain from the pages of Bhagavatam, they are able to come out with multiple interpretations, completely conducive to the words of Guru and Acharya. Yet it has their own flavor to it, right? How they felt those words, how they played a part in their lives, right? And that kind of realizations one starts to get. So that's why Pura api navanam, right? So Puranam is segregated as Pura api navanam. That means though it is very old, very ancient, but constant reading reveals new meanings, right? It's never the same. So the same purport, same verses, probably if we revisit after a year, our interpretation, our understanding, our realizations will be much more different than what we understood in the previous reading, right? And therefore, these scriptures are not one and done. It's not like we read once, oh, done. It's not a course book that we are done, we have passed our 11th standard, 12th standard. No. These are things that we have to keep reading because they endlessly give you new realizations with every reading, right? Then it creates a spiritual community, and that's what ISKCON is about. Is Prabhupada quotes in one purport, very beautifully quotes, that people have clubs. For example, somebody wants to get better at, studying for IITs, for example. There's a study circle for it. Somebody wants to play well golf, right? Somebody wants to do well in golf as a sport. there is a association, right? There's a golf membership that you get. There's Lions Club if somebody wants to do voluntary activities. But ironically, there is no official club association where like-minded people can come together and practice God realization. And that's what Krishna consciousness is, that global stage where all of us can come together and do Krishna Katha, exchange our experiences, our learnings, our realizations, our mood, and our understanding of literature, of our understanding of philosophy, etc., etc., and serve each other so nicely that it's not just we learning from other devotees, but Lord being so happy with our exchanges, and Nectar of Instruction gives a lot of examples around, what are the 6 things we should be doing. Utsa, Nishchaya, Dhairya, Tat Tat Karma, Pravartana, Sangatyaga, Yatovati, uh, uh, Tat Tat Bhakti. So there is an NOI instruction around what is good for good. What are the things we have to do for good association? What are the things we need to avoid? So people, devotees, guhyati guhyam, right? That confidential exchanges happen. So devotees share some confidential pastimes with other devotees, and this adds to a lot of rasa, right? So these things start to manifest purely by the word association. So many things can come out as a result. So that's what is being talked about here.
Prabhuji, there's a sloka also, right? Sadhu Sangha, Sadhu Sangha.
Yes, Mataji, you want to recite that?
Sadhu Sangha sloka. Value of moment association with that devotee.
Yes. So lava matra sadhu sangha, right? Lava matra, in fact, lava as a word is mentioned. It's got a quantification also. There is the time itself has got many components, like, muhurta is like 45 minutes as an example. So lava is, if I remember right, it's 1/10 of a second or 1 millionth of a second. So that moment of association with a sadhu can be life transforming. In fact, I remember in not just in ISKCON, even in Sri Parampara, there is a mention that one of a close confidants of Ramanujacharya, Kuratalwan, right? There was one father, and it's a very interesting shloka, interesting pastime. So one father used to, teach his kid that, he was kind of moving out of the family's culture. Like, he would associate with women, generally in society, impure women in the society. He would not do the daily duties like Sandhya Vandanam. Coming from a Brahminical family, he wouldn't perform Sandhya Vandanam, will not do Nitya Nusandhanam, and a lot of other things which are expected. Completely a rebel. And one day what happens is, this father sees this boy. He has been trying to tell him so many things, but one day he finds him that he's nicely put a Sri Vaishnavism tilak. He's nicely taken bath, wearing dhoti and all that. And then this father asks, did you happen to witness Kura Talwan on the way? So this son says yes. That means just by seeing Kura Talwan, his consciousness got transformed. Imagine the impact of Lava Matra Sangha of a sadhu. Right? That's the potency of sadhu sangha. Very difficult to get, and it should not be taken lightly. Right? So we'll go to the next one. Sarve te nimishair akshais tam anudruta chetasah viksantah sneha sambandha vichilesu tatraha. Anybody wants to read?
Shall I?
Yes, Devan Mataji, please go ahead. Yes.
Hare Krishna, yeah. Sarve te nimishair akshais tam anudruta chetasah vikshanta sneha sambandha vichelus tatraha. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. All their hearts were melting for him on the pot of attraction. They looked at him without blinking their eyes, and they moved hither and thither in perplexity. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Anybody wants to read the
Hare Krishna
purport?
Prabhu, can I read the purport?
Yes. Yes,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna,
I don't know who
purport by
came up
Srila
first.
Prabhu.
Yes, yes.
I had Prabhu.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Purport by
Yes.
Srila Prabhupada. Krishna is naturally attractive for all living beings because he is the chief eternal amongst all eternals. He alone is the maintainer of the many eternals. This is stated in the Katha Upanishad, and thus one can obtain permanent peace and prosperity by revival of one's eternal relationship with him. Now forgotten under the spell of Maya, the illusionary energy of the Lord. Once a relation is slightly revived, the conditioned soul at once becomes freed from the illusion of material energy and becomes mad after the association of the Lord. This association is made possible not only by personal contact with the Lord, but also by association with His name, fame, form, and quality. Srimad Bhagavatam trains the conditioned soul to this stage of perfection by submissive hearing from the pure devotee. Hare Krishna.
Mm. So what's the formula here for all this transition to happen, where one becomes mad for association of the Lord? That madness, what's the formula, golden formula for that to happen
That everything
from this
belongs
passage? Yes, Deval Mataji. Yes, right?
everything belongs to him, and he's the maintainer and he's the well-wisher of everyone.
That is understood, that Lord is the maintainer. But anybody, even with that knowledge, right? Even if one knows, we are not able to appreciate that on a day-to-day basis. We want to have our way, right? That madness, that I would want to associate with the Lord. I would want to hear about His name, fame, form, and quality. What's the trigger point for this transition to happen? Like there is a person, maybe he's got some atheistic or not, or some piety, or maybe he's atheist also. For him to change over to someone who's mad after Krishna, what needs to happen?
Reviving our eternal relationship with him, Prabhuji.
Yes, that's
Hearing
true.
from the pure devotee.
Who said that? Hearing from?
Yes, hearing from the pure devotee.
Yes, very nice. Yes. So Prabhupada gives the golden formula here, that Srimad Bhagavatam trains the conditioned soul to this stage of perfection. That perfection is essentially being mad after the association of the Lord and just hearing, not getting enough of His name, fame, form, and quality, by submissive hearing from the pure devotee. This is the biggest takeaway from this passage, right? One needs to hear submissively. That is also very important. Like what happens is, sometimes we hear with an intention of questioning, right? Oh, no, I think what he's speaking questionable, like that. One can have doubts. There's no problem with that. But the doubts also have to be asked submissively. Right? Pariprashnena sevaya. Right? That intention should not be of challenging the speaker. When someone is reciting Krishna Katha, doubts will arise. But those doubts have to be very humbly put forward. And not just that, before you put forward the doubts, one has to serve that person, then become eligible to ask some doubts. Right? That's the etiquette. Right? So one needs to do a submissive hearing. These two are very, very important. Submissive word is very, very important. Hearing anybody and everybody does, but not many people are able to do submissive hearing, where one basically feels bought into the philosophy, and there may be some doubts, and those doubts have to be submissively questioned and answers need to be sought. But not that one is dismissive of the philosophies, one doesn't believe in it at all, not that way. This is important. Nyarundan Udgalat Bhaspam Outkantyad Devaki Sute Niryati Agaran No Badram Iti Syat Bandavastriyah. Yarurundan. Yes. Anybody wants to recite?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Prabhuji,
Prabhu, please go ahead.
I will try, Prabhuji.
Yes, yes.
Nyarundan udgalat bashpam outkantyat devaki sute niryati agaratnaha abhadram iti syat bandavastriyaha.
Yes, Prabhu, go ahead.
Translation by Sri A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada ki jai. The female relatives whose eyes were flooded with tears out of anxiety for Krishna came out of the palace. They could stop their tears only with great difficulty. They feared that tears would cause misfortune at the time of departure. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, pranams Prabhuji.
Wonderful. A very beautiful translation. Anybody wants to read the purport?
Shall I, Prabhuji?
Yes. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, pranam. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. There were hundreds of ladies in the palace of Hastinapura. All of them were affectionate to Krishna. All of them were relatives also. When they saw that Krishna was going away from the palace for his native place, they were very anxious for him. And as usual, tears began to roll down their cheeks. They thought at the same time that tears at the moment might be a cause of misfortune for Krishna. Therefore, they wanted to check them. This was very difficult for them because the tears could not be checked. Therefore, they smeared their tears in their eyes and their hearts sobbed. Therefore, ladies who were the wives and daughters-in-law of those who died in the battlefield never came in direct contact with Krishna, but all of them heard of him and his great activities. And thus they thought of him, talked of him, his name, fame, etc., and became affectionate also, like those who were in direct contact. Therefore, directly or indirectly, anyone who thinks of Krishna, talks of Krishna, or worships Krishna becomes attached to him. Because Krishna is absolute, there is no difference between his name, form, quality, etc. Our intimate relation with Krishna can be confidentially revived by our talking of, hearing of, or remembering him. It is so done due to spiritual potency. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you.
Yes. It's a very touching pastime, a very touching purport and translation. See, they are in separation from Krishna. Their Vipralamba Bhava is kicking in and they are unable to control their tears. But immediately as tears come, they want to check those tears because that should not become, it's considered a shubh, right? When someone starts to cry when someone is leaving the home, because that journey from home to the destination needs to be safe for that individual. So it's considered very bad omen that one starts to cry, but the tears are coming automatically because they're feeling the pangs of separation, right? And at the same time, they have to check the tears. So it's a very difficult situation for these ladies, right? And many of them are either wives and daughter-in-laws of those who died in the battlefield. And here there's a mention that they never came in direct contact of Krishna, right? But they felt a lot of affection and attraction towards Lord. Can anyone take an example of any personality who fell in love with Krishna, but not necessarily they saw Krishna, but just heard about Krishna? Anybody?
Mirabai.
Rukmini now, Prabhuji.
Yes. Mirabai is definitely Rukmini. Who said that? Divya Mataji said, or I'm not sure who said that, sorry. Anyway, yes. So Rukmini is a classic case of how she fell in love with the Lord just by hearing him. And then she penned those love letters to him, and Lord had, delivered, kind of took care of her, because her brother was not conducive to this marriage. Her brother was Rukmi, right? And he was not conducive for this marriage. Yes. So therefore, directly or indirectly, anyone who thinks Krishna, talks of Krishna, anyone who thinks of Krishna, talks of Krishna or worships Krishna becomes attached to him. So it's like, someone who's fallen in love with the Lord, right? And someone who is thinking about Lord, it's difficult for him not to have a emotion associated with it, right? And the best part is this, that one doesn't need to have Lord come in person before us giving um, his um, uh, his darshan, Divya darshan, right? We can, just by accessing his name, just by talking about him, just by exchanging Krishna Katha, or just by talking about his qualities, right? Like, for example, he's Vibhu and we are Anu, right? We are Bindu, he's Sindhu, like that. So the way we talk about his qualities, that is non-different from the Lord himself. So that access to the Lord, imagine such a simple path to access him. It's not that he has to be, he's omnipresent, he's omnipotent, he's omniscient, all that is there. But by giving, and because he's all of this, his access path is also much easier. Like, we can, just by name, form, quality, pastimes, we're getting direct access to the Lord, direct audience with the Lord. So one has to, when one is chanting or when one is sharing Krishna Katha, one needs to have that consciousness that here's my opportunity to get an audience with the Lord, right? And if I am seeing Krishna in front of me face to face, will I give my undiluted attention to him? Will I be absent-minded, or will I be completely present in the moment and relish that association, right? So that's how we should think about Krishna Katha, chanting, and any activity in Krishna consciousness. So, yes, so that is because our intimate relation can be immediately or confidentially revived by just doing any of these 3-4 things. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I wanted to cover today. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any questions? We have a couple of minutes. Very good.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. One point which we discussed today, that is when we are continuously listening or hearing submissively, we are keeping in touch with the, we are always in the spiritual path. That part is very true when we are listening to our Bhagavatam class, because a few days when the story is moving on like this, we feel bored at times. Then suddenly when one point comes where, for example, Bhishma Deva passing away was the scene, and in that we were all listening, but every day, but there was one point where when he is leaving, everybody is all are worried for the departed soul and all that. And that time there were many qualities discussed. Why Bhishma Deva is, why everyone is in grief when he is leaving. He was a well-wisher, he was a guide, he was... so many qualities of Bhishma Deva we are discussing in that part. That made us feel, it was very nice. Such a devotee, and how can he keep up his oaths, which he took up, and all that. He's actually a very best example. So all this gives us encouragement, Prabhuji. There are so many things. When we are listening to Srimad Bhagavatam, we are getting so many examples which actually encourages to read, to listen to this Bhagavatam class more and more. Actually, we are not feeling to leave the class and go away. Hare Krishna.
Wonderful. Wonderful realization, Mataji. And see, when we are faced with, life is never going to be fair to anybody, irrespective whether devotee or atheist or anybody, right? In terms of material platform, I'm saying, see, Lord will ease our lives. Lord will give us the power, the ability to sustain challenges. But in expecting that the material world will turn on its head and everything will work our way is not a reasonable ask or a reasonable expectation. So Lord, what he does is, through all the pages of Bhagavatam and many kathas, many literatures, many scriptures, he gives us so many role models that we can take inspiration from. Like you, Mataji, very nicely mentioned about Bhishma Dev. Such exemplary qualities, but he had to be felled, right, in the field of Kurukshetra, because he was citing adharma as an example, right? And tomorrow, let's say we are going through some tough times in our life. We can actually draw a lot of inspiration from the lives of Pandavas, right? They were always devotees of the Lord, but they went through a hell of a time in the material world, right? At every time, right from the time they were growing up, there is treachery, there is aspect of somebody is always fishing for getting their kingdom, somebody is looking to kill them, and somebody wants to burn them, somebody, and Lord is at every step protecting these devotees of the Lord, right? And that's what Queen Quinty is praying. Vipatat santut vasasva tatra tatra jagat guru bhavato darshanam yatsya apunar bhava darshanam. Right? Just by your darshan, right? We want all the bad things, all the inauspicious things to happen again and again in our lives, because then we'll remember you, and that is the biggest benediction I have. So that's a very beautiful prayer Quinty is expressing towards the Lord. So essentially that. So even in tough times, we have to remember the Lord as much we would remember in good times. Yeah. So thank you so much, Mataji, for sharing your realization. Thank you.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji,
Yes, yes.
just one liner. I was asking this question of Prabhuji, the possessive, Krishna's possessive. Mother, I got a very beautiful reply from one Mataji.
Yes,
So I
Mataji.
just thought I'll
Please
share it with you.
Please share.
Yeah, I can actually see. She has explained it very beautifully. Like Mataji was telling, Krishna works through his energies, Maya Shakti. Accordingly, how much we, we surrender, or how much we are into Krishna conscious, accordingly, Krishna gives us this thing. Like it is not that possessive. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
And so even if someone is not well or something is undergoing some problem, means Krishna, instead of giving 50 lifetimes, for him to go, he just, this lifetime itself, he's calling him. He's making his life easier. So that is the thing you have to understand in that perspective. She has explained a very long, lengthy this thing. I'll just, if possible, I can forward you, Prabhuji, in the group.
Sure, Mataji. Please do. Thank you. Anything else, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, we were in Krishna conscious maybe right from last 3-4 years, I think. That is from this pandemic of this corona. Prabhuji, I have heard so many lectures from so many speakers. Thing is, this is a miracle going on. No one statement is controversial. No one statement is controversial. Everything is related to Krishna. Everything is based on this Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Everything. No, nothing is difference. I have heard so many. Regularly, I am hearing these classes. In addition to that, I used to hear the lectures of so many. At least 2 to 3 lectures I used to hear regularly. So everything. No, nothing controversial. This is the miracle of this Krishna consciousness, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu. And that's because we are talking about the absolute truth. Now, what happens is, it's like, even if there is any doubts that come, the Son of Lord Krishna dispels all the darkness, right? Wherever there is sunlight, there cannot be darkness. So any small thing that comes up gets squashed in the process. And everything lines up when you're talking about absolute truth. There cannot be, for example, when Krishna is stealing butter, somebody may say, why should the absolute truth be stealing butter? But one thing to also note, that everything is everything belongs to him. So he's taking what is belonging to him anyway, right? So it coherently matches up, right? There's no disparity there in any of his statement. He says that I never lie, but we see in kathas and other things that, oh, he's always there. Because what happens is, whatever he says in terms of the fact that which looks like a lie to us or a prank to us, because he has said it, it becomes a truth anyway, right? So he's not lying in that as well. So many things like that. So thank you, Prabhu, for sharing your realization there. Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay,
Prabhuji.
so
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
So we'll-
Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu, get that, Prabhu. Please go ahead.
Yes. Yes, Prabhuji. I've put my message in the chat box, Prabhuji. How do you remember all the slokas and use it at the right time, Prabhuji? Please guide us on that, Prabhuji.
I am struggling, Prabhu. I still need to work on it a lot more. But one thing I will say, Prabhu, there is a shloka book from Srila Prabhupada. I'll try to send that shloka book across. It's got a list of shlokas which Prabhupada has quoted quite a lot. It covers Srimad Bhagavatam, it covers Bhagavad Gita, Isha Upanishad, Nectar of Instructions, all of it. It's not necessary that you have to learn everything, but some of the key shlokas are there. Like, for example, based on what we are trying to explain, you will find a matching shloka in Bhagavad Gita, like that, or in Bhagavatam, or in any other literature. So it's a highly recommended book. I'll try to see if we can pass that. It's green. It's got a green cover. It's a shloka book only. Again, compiled by based on what Srila Prabhupada has quoted in all the literatures, that all the scriptures that he has translated. So I'll try to get that book across in terms of it. And you can shop in Amazon, or you can let me know how I can help, and that may help, Prabhu. Does that help, Prabhu? Sorry, I can't hear you if you're saying something.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Sure. Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Gurudev ki jai. Thank you so much for your patient hearing. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Thank you,
Prabhuji. Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Pranam, Prabhuji.